Panther Nation, it's the C3 Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com.
I had fun, man, just out, you guys joking, we working at the same time, putting the work in as a team. Like I said, I'm just glad to be with the guys,
My favorite night of the week?
We're going to go out there, and we're playing to win. We're not out here just to show up. We're out here to win.
I don't want guys that want to win, because really, who doesn't? Nobody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. I want players that hate to lose.
Well, this embodies everything that we are as a team, as an organization. Our motto is keep pounding. And that's what we do. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective, and we're here celebrating a big Carolina Panthers win, 31-24 over the Minnesota Vikings. Joe Riolano, it's an exciting day to be a Panthers fan, as one person has already put it in the YouTube chat.
Mondays and the following week after a Panthers win is just everything is better. The food tastes better. The air is cleaner. The sun shines brighter. Everything is just so much better. I am with my man Tony tonight, Panther Nation, aka the Professor, and we are ready to talk Panthers football. And let's go ahead and get this show on the road, Tony.
Tonight's show is Viking Slayers and the quest for the NFC South crown. We'll be talking about the Panthers' 31-24 win over the Minnesota Vikings. Really, the nature that this game took place. We'll be looking towards Green Bay, and we'll be talking about Cam Newton, his attire, and his post-game comments, plus more. And then at the end of, or towards the end of the show, we get into our cat calls, where you can be a participant on the podcast by calling the 24/7 voicemail service. The number is 252-228-5098. We got some good calls to feature tonight, so we appreciate everybody's support. Glad to have the regulars in the chat room are already here, plus all the new people, welcome. We encourage you to smash that thumbs up button. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like, share, drop this show, send it to a friend, or drop it in a Panthers group to let everybody know where the longest running Panthers podcast is at and the best discussion for Panther fans on Tuesday night. Joe, the Panthers hosted the Minnesota Vikings in a game coming off a loss to the New Orleans Saints. It's been an up and down couple of weeks. You win off a bye against the Jets. You have an opportunity to kind of assert your will or assert yourself into the NFC South division race by going to New Orleans. You blow that opportunity. And then you got to take on a team that has won 8 straight games, has a crazy defense, and a hot quarterback. The Panthers had it under control, though. Total team win, I feel like, this week. Just looking back at the game, we'll talk about some of the details. Overall, what does this win and this moment tell you about the Carolina Panthers?
Well, I think this win should give us confidence. It gives us something to build off of going into the last couple of weeks of the season. This is shows that we can beat a top tier team, because this is one of the best teams in the NFC and one of the best teams in the NFL in all actuality. So that should give us confidence and definitely some momentum to build off of.
Yeah, I think that we need to be cautious in how much this does tell us about the Carolina Panthers. You know what it tells me is that the Panthers are still in it. And not that losing this game would have kept them out of it, but they are in it, and there's some heart and some fight in this team that they can square off against a good team. But you're only good as the current week, and while this is an exciting win, we've got to win 3 of these in a row to really ensure that we get into the playoffs in many ways.
Yeah, I really, I wonder how we'd be feeling right now had we beaten New Orleans and then turned around and beaten the Vikings. I think we would be on a really, really, we'd be on cloud nine for
Yeah, we
sure.
would be. There'd be a different tune to this podcast.
Yeah, and that's, you said something, and that's really my biggest takeaway from this past week is this was a great win. We beat a very good team, but at the same time, they did do a lot of things to help us win the game. Okay, when it's all said and done, we had to make plays when the opportunities were there, and we ran the ball for 200 plus yards against a very tough running defense. They're very good at preventing the run, and we pretty much exerted our will there. So, you can't take that away from us, but at the same time, the Vikings experienced several drops. They had several turnovers, and they really didn't have a very good running game. So there were some things that they did poorly that normally they're much better at.
Sure.
All in all, it's still a big win, and there's no one that can take that away from us. Let's just bear in mind, as good as this win was, this Carolina team still has considerable room for improvement.
Yeah, I think one thing that I held on to all week was something that that Cody Lashney said in the call last week that I really have made my mantra, which is we needed to beat a good team. Yes. And this was an important game to see what we were made of. And I think we saw that it's this team right here. It takes everybody. And, it should take everybody to win on every team, right? But we have been able to skate by at times in our history with a defense or a game that you play defense and you only run the ball. You don't turn. I felt like this really took a total team effort. It took Cam Newton. It took Cam Newton throwing the ball. It took him running the ball. It took our offense running the ball and making some big plays. And it took our defense to make some big plays. We were fortunate at the same time, and those mistakes required other aspects of our game to step up. So if the offense had made a mistake, then the defense had to come out and really to show us something. And they were able to do that. And then when the defense made a mistake, the offense had to show us something. They were also able to do something with that. So I like to see that how we are becoming well-rounded as a team. I like to see our defensive line really get to have a really good game. But like you said, there's a lot of missed tackles in that game right there that could have put this game away much earlier, right? The Panthers, I felt like had this game under control for the most part, except for when they just chose to when they made these really big mistakes, So look, the game started out with a great tone from the outset. Daryl Worley with the first interception as a cornerback from a cornerback all season long for the Carolina Panthers. This gave the Panthers put a little excitement in that stadium right out the gate, and then it also gave the Panthers offense an opportunity to strike first, and they were able to do so. Jonathan Stewart with a 100-yard game rushing on the day, 3 touchdowns, 60-yard run on the first drive. Probably the longest touchdown run we've seen from Jonathan Stewart since Cam Newton's been around.
I would say that's probably accurate. Yeah, he when he hit that hole, he was gone. You really got to see that he does still have some pretty good speed.
I thought he was is that for he's a big fella. He's not a little guy.
No.
He was running as hard as he could. But he did not, obviously he's not a scorcher. And he had a good game. no turnovers, 3 touchdowns. Joey, can you drop him from your fantasy football team?
Oh my
every
God.
week?
Dropped him Sunday morning. Dropped him Sunday morning. There you go.
How were we able to run so effectively against the league's best defense? I mean, Minnesota's got the league's best defense, really.
It was the offensive line, bro. The offensive line probably had their best game of the year. They were making some really, really good blocks. And I think the scheme that Stewart put together as far as the blocking scheme was perfect. And that's really, I mean, that's the key. This offensive line had their best game of the year. I really believe that. If they can do that more consistently, we're going to be trouble. If we get our running game going to where it's a consistent, 3 or 4 yards every time we run the ball, teams are going to have a hard time with us. And then, of course, Cam, he tried to run early with limited success and then kind of got away from it. But then later in the game, he went back to it and that helped to put us over the top.
Oh, definitely. Cam Newton, 13 for 25 on the day, 137 yards, 1 touchdown, 70 yards rushing. 62 of those came in one chunk.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers is that, their defense was not bad against the run. They just gave up 2 giant plays.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you give up 2 giant plays, your defense is bad against the run that day.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said it. As much as those 2 plays made up most of the yardage we gained that day, we still got that yardage.
Yeah.
It was a good job by the line. Cam put a heck of a move on a safety.
Poor guy still. He's got ice on his ankles still.
Exactly. And what can you say? That was just a big time player making a big time play in a big time situation. That's really what it boils down to.
Cody Lashney says that was Jonathan Stewart's first game of his career with 3 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
And big game for that offensive line. Revenge game, too, for Matt Khalil. Ryan Khalil comes back. Right. I think that helped a ton.
I couldn't agree more.
You really saw is that there's the veteran savvy. I hope he can stick around. That neck injury is just so dang odd this year. It's been like such a secret that you hope. I haven't heard anything else, so that's good. You haven't heard his name this week.
With Khalil coming back, Ryan coming back, you can see, man, how much more familiar he is with this offensive line, the whole offensive system, being able to see the defense and knowing which call to make, and I'm sure knowing what adjustments to make to counter whatever the Vikings did as far as adjustment goes. What a tremendous difference when you get a player that has been All-Pro, has been the Pro Bowl, and spent 8 and 10 years with the Panthers. Look how big of a difference the one player can make. It's amazing.
Yeah. Carlton Cohen says, I've never seen a team hide an injury the way they have for Khalil. It has been a kind of bizarre, like we don't even really know what it is.
Well, they tried to feed us that line of he slept with his neck in the wrong position or whatever. That's where it started. And that's bull hockey by now.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, you can't just have a pulled neck muscle and it be that systemic. I mean, you got guys coming back from Aaron Rodgers might come back from a broken collarbone this week against the Panthers. Greg Olsen comes back with a broken foot and had surgery Don't give me this that he had a strained muscle. I don't know what it is, but it's just been interesting, like Carlton has said, how under wraps they've kept it. Saw another good comment on YouTube. I think it was from Adam Sanders, who said, let's not get overexcited about Jonathan Stewart. He can go cold in an instant. You know, maybe this didn't have, like Joey's saying, so much as maybe this isn't on Stewart so much as it is on the offensive line.
Exactly.
And that's not trying to take away from Stewart, but at the same time,
no.
that's
Go ahead. It didn't seem to me like you were, praising Michael to Stewart and saying Jonathan Stewart's back, and it wasn't anything like that. You were just saying the guy hasn't had a game like this in what? This is only the second time this year over 100 yards, first time ever scoring 3 touchdowns. This doesn't mean he's back to double trouble style running ability. It's not. Well,
I tell you who it does mean that to is Bill Voth. Now, Bill Voth, who now works for the Carolina Panthers, in the middle of the game, when Jonathan Stewart rails off, gets his second touchdown, he tweets out, and I had some guy to tweet me about how we needed to see Cap and McCaffrey more. And I tweeted him back, and I said, it's real easy after my man just scored 2 touchdowns for you to call out a fan and say that this was an idiot trying to play GM. Because that's what they do, is they try to be like, well, if you really knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, they talk to the fans like that. And I said, look, is that Jonathan Stewart ran through a hole for that 60-yard touchdown that was as big as the damn Moses part in the Red Sea, right? It's not like you did not look at that game and go, Jonathan Stewart is like back. He is Todd Gurley of today. You didn't say that. You said this is a good game, and thank God we finally needed one. You saw McCaffrey get some decent runs. But let's not trash on Cameron Artis-Payne. That's what I told him. And he goes, I said, don't throw Cameron Artis-Payne under the bus here. And he tweeted me back, and he said, I didn't throw anybody under the bus, Mr. GM. And I was like, I called him Mr. Bill. I was like, man, you really like talking down for somebody who is 5'6". You really like talking down to people here. Come on now. Like, but I mean, I don't like the opportunism of told you so, gotcha. Is that for all you people that aren't in the fold, Jonathan Stewart, this is why the coach didn't give up on him? No, we've talked about this over and over, is that you could even think of it as saving him some. We never had a problem resting him in the past. Yeah. But he had a big game. We like to see that. The run game, though, I mean, that was really bolstered, too, by Cam Newton with these 2 big runs. Funchess, Joey, 4th touchdown in 5 games.
I know. He's really stepping up, dude. He was given the opportunity to come in and be the team's #1 receiver, and he's stepping up. He's making the most of his opportunity. Does this mean that I think Funchess can be the #1 receiver for the Panthers from now on? I don't know the answer to that question. I think he is doing the most with the opportunity he's been given this season. I can definitely say that. I think it's too early to say this is our #1 guy. But for this season, he is our #1 guy.
Yeah, we need first. I want to give Funchess some props. Is that I was one of the people that didn't believe in him. I didn't believe in him. I didn't believe he was going to be that good. That's just what I thought. I thought he was going to kind of be like a Brandon LaFell type player. I think I was still upset that we traded up for him, because I felt like nobody was really going to take him. If you really wanted him, that was going to work. I think I've been frustrated by the personnel decisions and how we've used these people. So I think some of my kind of hesitancy when it came to Devin Funchess had less to do with him and some to do with how he was being integrated, how this offense was trying to use these two big guys. And admittedly, it all comes back to the salad comment, dude. When you say your favorite food is salad, it was tough, right? But look, it's time to give this guy some credit. 4 touchdowns in 5 games. He has stepped up to the call. It's really impressive when you see someone step into, when they have an opportunity, they take full advantage of it. Now, I think what this also shows us, Joey, is that, and this goes to something about how those coaches know so great, like all the time, like we just worship everything that they walk on, supposedly, and that's what I'm trying to tell Bill Voth. We've misused this guy for the last year. We've heard the coaching staff say they need to get him involved and integrated more, but they simply did not know how to do that with Kelvin Benjamin on the field. And it turns out that Devin Funchess, that certain players do better in certain roles. And Devin Funchess has done better in this type of what he's been asked to do in the games. He's gone against better corners, Joey. He's going against the number 1 corner against team. He's getting, not is he only getting more looks, but he's running different routes. And they are putting him, obviously, what they're asking him to do and the pieces they're putting surrounding him now is truly, it's making him better. And if he could catch the damn ball a little bit more, he would be the number 1 receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, he definitely has had his chances at deep balls. Cam does like to get them to him.
He's missed a couple that were big catches, and it's not a knock on him like, hey, he hasn't done a good job. It's just is that he caught those, there's 3 or 4 passes he's dropped, and all of a sudden you're talking about 100-yard games being 160-yard games. So right. I think he's answered the call. I think it's been impressive. I think that the whole concept of addition by subtraction has worked. Cam Newton is better when he doesn't have Kelvin Benjamin out there. And I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, why that is, but what we've seen is Funchess has a higher ceiling than Kelvin Benjamin does. He had a lower floor because he could have been a complete. He could have. I mean, it looked like at some point he wasn't gonna, be that good at all. But he has he can make moves with the ball in his hands. Kelvin Benjamin couldn't do that.
Yeah, he has been the go-to guy. With Olsen out, Cam's definitely looked to him more, and for the most part, he's delivered. I mean, he truly has. It was nice seeing Bird out there.
Boy, you know what?
Yeah.
Is they don't say nothing there. Those guys, all of a sudden, they're bird watching with us now. But you remember that another guy that they're like, oh, don't get too excited about Bird. Don't do this. You know what? Another guy that when his number is called, makes plays.
That's it. He makes plays. When Cam can get him the ball, he catches it and he can make something happen. I know he's slight of build, but man, does he have some jets. He has some speed and
he's a tough youngster too. He's not scared to go after the ball. He goes up and tries to get it, even in traffic. I think that you see some awareness there. I think you saw him, and I know Kalen, I think you saw him step into the number 2 role in this offense, maybe just for this year so far, because when Curtis Samuel comes back and some different things. But I thought he played a significant amount of snaps, had, I think, 5 catches, some some important catches in that game. I think you saw him leapfrog Shepard in the rotation.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Shepard out there. I think he ran a reverse
Yeah, it was pretty good. He did a good job there.
Yeah, he got like 8 yards on that. That was, that was a pretty decent play. And did he have a catch? I think he had one catch, maybe.
I have to look up the stats for that, but
yeah, I don't remember.
You know where he shined is like he had his best game of the season. You know where you saw him make plays? Special teams.
Special teams.
He was down there. I think he drew a penalty on one play, which was good because he was down there so quick. And the other, he put his helmet. He popped out a fumble with inside the 10 or around the 10-yard line. That was that. It could have been one of those things. They were able to recover, but man, it put that returner off kilter so much that I almost thought he was going to fumble again.
If we would have gotten that ball, that would have been a huge play in the game. That would have been a huge play because we'd have been set up with great field position. But anyway, that was just, last week. Didn't we just talk about that last week about him not showing up and not really being the special teams player? And lo and behold, he must have heard us.
Yep.
He must have checked out the podcast. And he heard
big fan of the podcast from what I hear. I hear he's like, I hear he turns it on Wednesday morning, and, we're locker room material, it turns out.
Right. We were bulletin board material this week for him.
Yeah. Locker room material sounds nasty. Bulletin board material sounds better. Defense. The defense had a day until they didn't, Joey. Peppers should have been credited for 2 sacks in this game. Mario Addison had his most complete game of the year. I think you're seeing the emergence, and this is what I was hoping for at the beginning of the season. I said I think that Mario Addison is ready to step into more than a pass rush specialist role, but into a every down defensive end type role, and I think you're seeing that happen before our eyes. He graded out as the number one. He got the game ball from PFF. I think that means the best defensive end in the league, or maybe just a defensive end a defensive player in that game.
Okay.
But he had 9 pressures. I think he had a sack, maybe a fumble, forced fumble.
Didn't he cause a turnover?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I think he was the one that got his hand on that funky fumble that Keenum
that Mike
slapped.
Adams picked up.
Yeah, now what about that play? What do you think about that?
Play. And really it goes to say heads up to the defense for playing until the whistle blows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thomas Davis was taking a nap there. I mean, everybody thought it was over. I mean, I'm not going to fault him and say like he's not being aware. Great awareness by Mike Adams to pick the ball up and start running.
Yeah, absolutely. It really was. And just the defensive line really played a great game this week. You have to give it to them. I think they had 6 sacks. Is that right?
6 sacks. KK had 2. Peppers had. Let's just say Peppers had 2. They gave it to Love. He was down. Keenum was down. Mario Addison had 1. And we left about 3 sacks out on the field.
Oh, yeah.
There was one play where I think it was Captain Munnerlyn blitz from the side, and he just was about to wreck Case Keenum. And it wasn't like a poor tackling technique. Case Keenum just completely ducked, and little Captain Munnerlyn shot right over him, and he ran for like 13 yards, looking like damn Mike Vick out there.
It was so funny because Captain Munnerlyn came right off the edge, and he was trying to do the old Nikita Koloff Russian sickle. But Keenum ducked, and there goes Captain Munnerlyn flying by.
Poor guy. Yeah, he did, man.
Yeah, if he had connected, though, I think he might have killed Keenum. Captain would have definitely got the flag thrown by an official for blow to the head. But, yeah, he was really trying to lay one on him. That was funny.
Keenum is slippery as hell.
He really was.
he got away. I'm telling you, he looked like Mike Vick a couple of times. The slowest Mike Vick you ever seen. But, boy, he looked fast out there running for 2 first down, converting big first downs or on the ground. I mean, like 13-yard runs. There was one where he ran forever, I felt like.
He rushed for 40 yards all total.
Yeah. He was not bad. I think this is that, look, the defense, like I said, the defense had a day until they didn't. You had Worley with the interception. You had Worley making a pretty solid play. There was a couple of times. Worley had his best game of the season. Best game of his career, I would argue. And not just because of the interception. He made an important tackle late in the game. I think, though, again, what you see with Worley is what you saw a little bit with last year is he plays so far off of those guys. It's like 3rd and 7, and he's like 10 yards deep. It's real – they like to go after him in those situations. But he had a good game. Bradbury – I might say this is I thought Bradbury had an up and down game. He had made one of the most critical plays of the game when we turned the ball over towards the end. It's 24-21 and they get the ball like on the dang 6. And we were able to hold them to a field goal, and that was, I think, on second or third down they did that. He made an amazing play. He also had an interception in this game that was kind of a fluky, pop up, but he got it. He made a couple of important tackles. But one of the things, he missed a huge tackle. Do you remember that one where he missed it and then Diggs ran for like 30 yards? That was what put them in a position to get back into this game. So, but look, his Bradbury, he's a second-year player, and he has been put in some tough positions. He had to go against Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen all day. Not the easiest task.
Those are good receivers. Very good receivers. And I think didn't he have an interception that he dropped too? Maybe not.
I don't know. But I tell you who did kill this team was Adam Thielen. And not only did he kill him, but he also gave him some presents too. It was Adam Thielen's 52-yard touchdown in the about 9 minutes left? Less than 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And because Bradbury's pick, when Bradbury picked the ball with 9 minutes left, I thought this game should have been over. You're up 24, I think, to 13?
17? Yeah, 14.
14. And so you thought this game is over, 9 minutes left, but then it was Thielen who strikes with a 52-yard touchdown, which really just poor tack again comes back. Yeah. You know what the weakness of this team is? Tackling. These dudes got to tackle better.
Yeah.
Because we can get off the field. That's what I'm saying. That Bradbury play earlier in the game was a poor tackling play. I saw Luke Kuechly try to make 2 arm tackles in this game. Not Luke Kuechly like. It was that game. So then Thielen gets this 52-yard touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion. And then all of a sudden that we are it's in Cam Newton's head. Cam Newton, as you could tell, he was like, oh, shit, I can't believe this game is about to get away from us. He comes out. He throws a ball at Jonathan Stewart's feet. We have a running play that doesn't get enough, and then he throws a kind of what Cam Newton can do when Cam Newton's off, and he threw a bullet to Christian McCaffrey that didn't need to be a bullet. It rockets off his hands. You could say it's on everybody in that play. That's what I'd say.
Cam threw it high, and he threw it hard.
Right, and McCaffrey didn't catch it.
Yeah, and McCaffrey didn't catch it, yes.
So and then all of a sudden, this game, I was like, oh, shit, Joey, how worried were you at that point?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that just happened. And I was mad at Cam. I was, because in that situation, he doesn't need to throw it that hard. The coverage wasn't super tight. And it was just a matter of him hurrying. He had the time to make a better throw. I mean, I know the pocket was closing and he was getting pressure, but he still had time to make a better throw, and that would have gotten a first down. And
that's where Cam's got to get better, man. That is where Cam Newton has to get better. It's the touch. It's not layups. It's not that he can't throw the short ball. It's none of that. It's just he's got to have touch when the nerves are kicking in.
It does matter. Yeah, it does matter. But yeah, when that interception happened, I was like, oh no. It's exactly what I thought was, oh no.
Well, because they get on the 6, is that I went from going, okay, this game is our game. Like when Bradbury got that pick, I was like, this is over. Like, this is our game. And then Thielen gets the touchdown. I'm like, all right, they're trying to make it close. This is cardiac caddish. I get it. Then Cam Newton, that pick happens. I said, oh, shit, we're trying to give this game away. I didn't say this game is over for us yet. I said, if the defense gives up 6 here, this game is over. And the defense redeemed themselves for the 5th. This is what I was thinking, Joey. At that moment, I said, all right, it's time for the defense to redeem themselves for that Thielen touchdown. And they did by holding them to 3. And then as soon as they did that, I said to myself, but by the time I was trying to tweet this stuff out, like all the stuff had already happened. So I was like, I ain't even tweeting it. But I was like, all right, now it's time for this offense to redeem itself. And Cam Newton's got to do it. And then what do you know? A 62-yard run, game over.
Tony, I kid you not. After the kickoff, when we were running the first play, I tweeted, "This is the moment where we need to run Cam. The Vikings won't be looking for it." That's exactly what I tweeted. And then they ran the first play, and then the second play, boom. Cam busts a big one, and then I tweeted, "You're welcome, Twitter." That's exactly what I tweeted.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, Joey. Thank you. So it was amazing, and the Panthers get a win over a really good team. And I was when Cam Newton did that, the image of Cam Newton, he's got what he would say, the drip, the goo, the sauce, the worst sayings ever, by the way. I think I am not a fan of this. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But boy, you know what? Is whatever people say about Cam Newton is I want a man that's got a huge you-know-what to lead my team. That I want a guy that has the stones to do the confidence, not some wussy guy that's going to play to a system only. And I like this. I'm going to ride and die with that guy. And so I'll take the 13 for 25 with this. Yeah. Cam Newton is a competitor. He's a winner, dude. Love it.
He is. And he does have a clutch gene, dude. He's got that clutch gene. We've seen him lead game-winning drives in the past, and he did it in a big-time situation here. Game on the line. Your team needs a drive, needs a big play, needs to get to field goal range at the very least to have a chance to win the game. And he put it upon himself. And I think it was the right play call at the right time, because we've been running that read option a little bit early with limited success. But that time was the perfect, because we've gotten away from it and we hadn't run it in a while. And boom, it was a big play.
YouTube chat room's firing off right now. Melissa says Cam makes shit happen. And Junkie for Fame knew exactly what I was talking about. Cam Newton has a huge heart.
Exactly. And that's what it is. You know, the guy is not afraid of the spotlight. He always likes to be the center of attention, you know, in the press conferences and all that. And that's even true on the field. He wants the ball in his hands at the most important times. Right?
Let's talk about, and you know what? That's the guy I want. I'm sorry. I don't want the other. I don't want a guy that's not willing to throw the ball downfield. I've seen that. I've seen that player before. I don't want a guy who's gun shy. I want a guy who wants all of the, and it's not a selfishness is more as it is this. It's clutch. It's huge. It's like superstar gene. I think
it is, and it's about, hey, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna throw the ball downfield. If it gets intercepted, it's on me. If the guy catches it and I make a good throw, it's on me. Yeah. Either way it goes, he's not afraid. Either way, he's gonna try to make the play. We've seen, like you said, a quarterback that doesn't do that. We had what's his name? That guy from Notre Dame we drafted. That
Clausen couldn't throw it. But we've had a bunch of them. We've had Chris Winkie, Matt Moore. Yeah. We've had all these guys before.
Yes, and they're not willing to lay it all out on the table.
And that's really what was great about Jake Delhomme so much is he was he took a lot of risks.
Yeah, he did.
And I say this is you can't win I'm not saying you need to be unnecessarily risky.
Right.
But you've got to be willing to put yourself on the line. And Cam Newton does that. Here, you said he likes the spotlight in the press conferences. And, boy, I tell you what I'm most surprised today, Joey, and yesterday, is that we have not been hearing nonstop in the national media about this press conference. I thought they were going to eat him up. I believe that the press let him off the hook. And finally, for once, here is Cam Newton on the play where he hits Devin Funchess. He was asked about Devin Funchess said, we made eyes. We made eye contact, and they asked him about it.
Moving forward. And Funchess said that he and you made eye contact on the pass you were scrambling and ended up throwing the touchdown. Is that right? Or how did that broken play, how that turned into a TD?
I made a couple eye contacts with a couple people, defensively included. So, it was just everything that I was told not to do, I did. Throwing across your body. Those are kind of the same play, similar to the Monday night game where it got overturned as an interception. But sometimes you just got to overcome coaching, and guys just out there playing football. I'm just happy that Fun was alert of the opportunity and did the rest.
What's it mean having?
All right, I thought this was going to be a huge story. Joey, you texted me about this when you heard it, is that sometimes you just got to overcome coaching.
Okay, yeah.
We talked to Mel about this, and Mel's probably right, a little tongue-in-cheek a little bit, maybe not as direct as Dig, but, the easy thing to do is to latch onto that quote. And to say, like, look, this is Cam Newton showing that he has been unhappy with Mike. This is something I thought that they were going to run with. I think, though, too, there was a little something to this. And, again, this goes back and this shows you that rebellious gene of Cam, that he can do everything.
Right, that he believes in himself, that he believes he can make any throw anywhere, at any time, in the game, at any point on the field. He really does believe that. He believes in himself that much. And, I guess he could have been talking about the coaches on the team, or he could have been saying just in general that every coach tells you, don't throw across your body. Don't throw off your back foot. Everybody, other coaches tell quarterbacks that. So
because that is what you're supposed to coach, right?
Right.
I mean, those are the techniques.
Right.
I think what Cam Newton, and I'm telling you, I think he really believes that, or I think he is coming back. I think it's coming out. I think the whole attire, I think all of it says this, is that I'm the best, man. Like, those rules don't apply to me. I think he's starting to, and I don't think it's a bad thing for him to believe those things. I think it's almost time to embrace it and just say this, is that I'm not saying fight the coaching, but he's saying this. He is on to something here, is, you know what? We never talk junk about those plays when they work. We just don't. We don't go, oh, Cam Newton did he's coming right out and said this, is that you guys tell me not to do this, I did it and it worked. You're welcome. Right? He is. I think Cam Newton tried to put his head down a little bit too much since the Super Bowl, since he got a lot of flack. I think that I think he's coming out this year and saying, you know what? I'm the man, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I'm the man. I believe it. And I believe he's doing that. Now, they asked this, too. They asked him about, I thought Cam was going to get reamed for this press. He was feeling good in this press conference. He was joking in a way that was slightly edgy at times. Now, here he was. And one thing, if you're a reporter listening to this and you are interviewing Cam Newton, do yourself a solid and don't ask him about how other players feel. Cam Newton doesn't like this, and he shouldn't. No one should. He should speak for. He gets enough trouble speaking for himself, right? He doesn't need to be. I hate when people ask questions. They asked this one time, and Jordan Rodriguez asked. I think it was Steve Wilkes. Does it make you proud when you see a defense do this? Like, I know it's like when you see these guys do these stuff, like their accomplishments or I don't get it. I don't like this. How do you feel about McCaffrey talking about the burden of responsibility? It's just ask questions about Cam Newton. Here, they asked him about Jonathan Stewart. Here it goes. I think David Newton asked this.
Knowing what you know about Stewart's personality, to see him stop, turn around, fall back in the end zone, what's that say to you?
He's beginning to get a little bit of drip. I liked it. Did you like it, Mr. Newton? Did you like it? Yeah, appreciate it. Well, is that something that you would have done? Huh? About the 60-yard part.
As big as your.
What about the 60-yard part? I mean, Joey, there's a little sparring there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you like to see that from him.
Can somebody tell me what the drip is? When you say drip, goo, and sauce, Joey, what do you think those references are to?
Well, there's a lot of innuendo going on there.
Yeah, and it's either like this, like a loogie drip, which I don't think that's what it is.
No.
And I think it's a little.
It has sexual overtones.
I think so.
Right.
I think that's exactly what it means, and so you can keep to me, it's just kind of nasty. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to put it.
This is nasty. All right. So my favorite part about all this was Cam Newton in his Shriners Club hat. Here he's asked about his attire.
I don't use drip, sauce, swag. I mean, I ain't want to, wear something that everybody done seen a lot. I actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm gonna give credit what credit due. I was reading a GQ magazine, and one of my favorite artists is because he is, put Atlanta on the map, Andre 3000. And in GQ magazine, he was just talking about, his, where he is in life right now. And I was looking at the pictures, and I sent it to, my plug, Alberto. Shout out to Alberto.
He forgot his name. My plug.
He had like a brimless hat. And I was like, man, I want that. I ain't never seen nobody. I look in NBA, NFL, baseball. Ain't nobody seen a brimless hat. So I wanted to put the first one, behind the scenes with the brimless hat. So you've seen it here first. Cam Newton, brimless hat. Tripping.
All right, Joe. The hat has been an interesting one. It was like an old Shriners Club hat, but I got to take issue with this, Joey.
I think it's called a fez.
A fez.
Yeah.
Cam says that he wanted to be the first one that did this, but I got to say this is credit where credit's due. Black Shriners of Medina Lodge did this like 100 years ago. Check these dudes out. Joey, you can't see it, but the rest of YouTube can. Credit where credit's due right here. Way to go, guys. I was trying to get I did put this out on Facebook today. Or yesterday. Does anybody have an old Shriners Club hat lying around? And when I was tweeting this, and I said I would like to either borrow or buy it by tomorrow. And when I was writing this on Facebook, I was giggling to myself, right? And I was giggling about this is that there's no context to this comment, and I did it on purpose. So I want to look back at this, or someone to look back at this in like 15 years and just see a random anybody got an old Shriners Club hat laying around? And I was really hoping that someone would. Like, I mean, yeah, I used to be in the Shriners Club, gave it up a while back, but I got the hat still. Got the hat. I know what he meant. We're having fun with the brimless hat. Richard's Outdoor World is I wanted to if I had Photoshop back on my computer. Right now I'm down a computer that had Photoshop on it. I would have stuck Cam Newton in that picture. It was good. I like the glasses. I love the look. I think it's important. I think it goes back to that swag.
It had a feather on the side of it, and it said love also on the side.
Looking like, you know who I thought of when I saw him in that? Is somebody I heard say the Golden Child from
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and then the one I was thinking of is I thought he looked like Arsenio Hall from Coming to America.
Really, I thought of one of the characters from Johnny Quest.
I want to make. We got to make these hats. Melissa's right. We got to make them. It's time to wear. It's time to put the C3 fez out there. All right, let's jump really quickly, Joe. We don't got a ton to talk about the Packers. Right. Aaron Rodgers could be back though. The Packers. Let me see where they're at in the standings real quick. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers returning? He's eligible to return this week.
Yeah, I know. If I'm a Packer fan, I'm hesitant. I know with the win they had yesterday or Sunday, they're still in the playoff hunt. My concern is this, that the Panthers are really good at getting pressure on quarterbacks. I think they lead the league or right up at the top as far as getting pressure on quarterbacks goes. And, all it's going to take is one wrong hit, and there goes Rodgers again for the rest of the year, maybe having to have another surgery on that collarbone. I know bringing him back gives them a chance to get to the playoffs, but, man, I don't know that this is the week to do it.
It looks like they're a game behind the Seahawks, and I think there's too many good teams ahead of them. I am with you, but I guess if Aaron Rodgers always gives you a chance to win, you know, if you could get into the playoffs, he alone could get this team to a place. And the fact that they've been playing without him is important. The Eagles dropping now, all of a sudden you're without Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
You know, there's some opportunity for you to kind of thread the needle. That could be one way of looking at it. I do agree I think there's a lot of risk for an outside chance. Yeah. But, you know, you beat the Panthers, though, and all of a sudden you're a game out. Or you're a game out right now. The Panthers have to win this game. You know, I'm not scared of Aaron Rodgers coming to town.
No,
I think it'll be easier without him, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Now, the reason I'm not, even if it comes down to I'm not worried about this, is their defense is in bad shape. That and really, another reason he shouldn't come back, I don't think, is their offensive line is just, you know, a mixed bag of people. They've been so decimated by the injury bug that they're going to have a hard time keeping him upright. But even if he comes back and is able to play, their defense is not very good. So I would expect us, if we play like we did this past weekend, we should put up some points on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good. We got to, because you're gonna play. This is not gonna be They're a team that's gonna play well. I think they're not gonna play terrible, but they went into Pittsburgh and played them tough. And I know Pittsburgh, they're up and down, but they're not gonna be. It's not a pushover team. That's what I don't think we need to think that. But we have we have to win this game. It's time to get the offense on track. It's time to get some confidence. Go in. What do we got? Tampa Bay after that. Go to Tampa Bay and take care of business. And then
I think we're home.
Oh,
we're home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so that's what, 3 consecutive home games?
Yeah. And then we end the year in Atlanta. That's
so
right.
You win out right now. If you win out, here's the good news. If you win out, that's going to put you at what, 12-4?
11-4. Oh no. Yeah, if we beat Atlanta,
win out,
yeah.
If we beat Atlanta, that puts us to 12-4. So here's what you're talking about is that you need, if the Saints drop a game, if the Saints win out, they're 12-4.
Right.
If the Saints drop a game,
and they still have to play Atlanta again.
Right.
In Atlanta.
We need them to drop one game. If they drop one game and we win out, we get the NFC South. But if the Vikings also drop one game where they play the Bengals, which is there's the Bengals and the Bears, there's an opportunity. It's not going to be easy. They probably don't. But if they drop a game, we win out, all of a sudden we're in the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles could get bounced early without Wentz. I think they're okay without him. I don't think they're Super Bowl bound without him, though. You're talking about an outside chance for the Panthers to host another NFC championship game, dude. If the Eagles go out and you're the number 2 seed, doesn't the road go through Carolina?
Yeah, and look, the Eagles, it's possible for the Eagles to lose a couple of games here in the next few weeks without Wentz. It's not outside of the realm of possibility.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, and then if you figure if they lose a couple, and the Vikings get the chance to move up to first place, we win out, we could still be there at second. Or if the Eagles lose a couple, the Vikings lose one, and we win out. Next thing you know, we're first in the NFC.
That's insanity.
So, we if we win out,
you have to win out. The Panthers really have to win out, because winning out can get you, like you said, as high as the number 1 seed. Maybe more realistically, no. I think it's just as realistic at this point without Wentz that they lose. So it's not impossible. But at the same time, if the Panthers drop a game and the Saints win out, and the Falcons win out because they beat us, you're talking about potentially missing, and the Rams, another team. So there's going to be a team that misses the playoffs in the NFC that has 10 wins. There's going to be a team probably that has 10 plus wins. There might even be a team that has 11 wins.
Potentially.
And so the Panthers have to, despite how good of a season they have to win to get in. It's that simple. It doesn't mean that not winning doesn't get you in, but there's only one way to ensure that you get in the playoffs, Joey, and that's to win the next 3 games.
Yeah, and that's it. It's as simple as that. You win out and you're in. And that should be the approach. Every game from this point on is a playoff game.
Oh, Richard's right. Is the Falcons and the Saints both can't win out. They play each other.
Right.
True. You're right. But if we drop a game and the Falcons win out, right? So the Falcons, that would put us at 10, and let's just say we win 2 out of 3. That puts us at, 11 and 5. And if they win 3-3, if they go 3-0, the Falcons, they're at 11 and 5.
5, yeah. And
so
then,
I don't know who wins the tiebreak. I think then we'd have to start going to how many NFC games they've won, things like that, because we would have split there. The Saints, though, they win 2 games, 2 out of 3 games, and they're at 11 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
What if they won 2 games, the Falcons beat them and won 3 games and beat what if there were 3 teams that were 11 and 5, Joey?
I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility either. I think that would be absolutely crazy to have 3 teams from one division in the playoffs. That's absolutely unheard of. But it is possible. That would really make for an interesting playoffs. The Eagles have the Giants, the Raiders, and the Cowboys.
Where is that Raiders game at?
It's in Philadelphia at 8:30 on Christmas Day.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Not an easy game, but it would be a lot harder for them if they had to go to Oakland.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
They could win out. They can win all 3 of those games without Carson Wentz.
I think they will. They may not win them as handily as they would have with Wentz, but I think Foles is a good enough quarterback to get them a win.
They got their defense is good. They've got some weapons. They've got some good receivers. Their team was not just driven by Carson Wentz. He is very good, and he has been playing out of his mind. But you're talking, so they look to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I have to.
The Vikings have to play the Bengals, the Bears, and one other crappy team. There's a good chance they win out too, but we need everybody to drop a game. We need the Saints to drop a game, the Falcons to drop a game, and the Vikings to drop a game. That would be amazing right there. But I tell you who we don't need to drop a game, and that's the Panthers. We got to get business done this week against Green Bay. Don't sleep on Tampa Bay. And then, how is the NFL liking this? This is why you put division games at the end of the season. You're talking about Atlanta Falcons, Week 17. Go ahead, Joe.
Vikings have Bengals, Packers, Bears.
Bengals, Packers, Bears. See, they could drop one of those games.
Yep.
I don't think it's outside. I think that, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it's like the Bears.
They have to go to Green Bay.
That's tough. That's going to be tough on this team.
Yep,
I think they're better than Green Bay. I think they should win all 3 of those games, but it's not,
That's a Saturday night game, too.
God. What about the NFC? It's just, we might as well just watch the NFC for the rest of the season only. It's like the playoffs right now.
Right, I agree. The AFC at 6, they got teams that are 6-6 or 6-7 or 6-5 in the playoff hunt.
Yeah,
You know
the
That's
Panthers
how bad it is there.
Carolina Panthers at Atlanta Falcons, Week 17, giant game.
Could be all the marbles.
For one of those teams is in and one of those teams is out. That's what I believe. Whoever wins that game makes the playoffs. Whoever doesn't misses it. That's where I think we're at. And I don't know if the Falcons sweep the Saints, but I mean it's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's where the playoff situation is. It's only getting more complex. If you're a Panthers fan, it's a cool place to be in, but it's kind of scary. And not scary is that the scary part is that you'd hate to be 11-5 and miss the playoffs. Talk about the disappointment, the greatest disappointment, right? Is that have a great season, because 11-5 is nothing to sneeze at. Miss the playoffs, or is that there's hope. There was so much hope for us to get the number 2 seed still, and I'm believing in it. I think it would be great. Love to see that, but I do believe that going through Philadelphia got a lot easier now without Carson Wentz. So even if they go deep in the playoffs, it's a lot easier to go in there in the NFC Championship and get to the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz for them. Panthers have done it before, 2003. Go into Philadelphia, get business done. So let's see it again. Joey, let's go ahead and jump into these cat calls, all right?
Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
I think the greatest part about this game was how mad Tony Romo was watching us beat them.
Hey, this is Christopher Kelton. I'm just calling. I want to voice my displeasure with the running game.
This was the week before. This was from the week before.
And why can't Cap or either Alex Armour run the ball? I mean, Alex Armour's got good hands. He used to be a tight end, and he's strong. He's a physical beast. Why are we not using him to his full potential? Please give me a reason. Maybe I'm seeing something no one else sees. Peace.
Yeah, today they looked like a team that wasn't satisfied and stayed disciplined. The staff kept pushing, and a lot of players kept pushing too. I've seen a lot of bend but don't break. I want to see how they carry all that into next week. That's my cat call.
Hey guys, it's Shaughnessy Evans from Chapel Hill, and I just want to say that was a great game we played. Kind of had me a little bit scared in the fourth, but you know how us cardiac cats are. First thing I want to say is Stu has to be listening in because he had a great game after 2 underwhelming weeks. Kind of glad to see him back to get to where he usually is. I'd also like to see Cam to take what the defense is giving him, because if Aaron Rodgers is playing, we need to take advantage of every drive that we have, because he's not going to make it any easier. And also, I would like to see Thieves Avenue keep their heads on a swivel, because last week we did a pretty good job, had Darryl Worley and Bradbury getting picks. Kind of glad about that, but we need to keep our heads on a swivel, because if not, it's going to be a long game. Give me your thoughts and keep pounding.
Shaughnessy is right, man. I think, you know what, he nailed it 100%. Jonathan Stewart, bulletin board material, got him going, but he's right. You know, against the team with that, like against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, makes this defense pay for some of the things that they've gotten away with this season. You know, there have been some moments this season where we've been blessed, Joey. We've been blessed with Julio Jones dropping a touchdown in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
We've been blessed with Austin Senefarian Jenkins dropping a touchdown. We've been blessed with whatever his name, Thielen, dropping 3 of them.
Touchdown.
There was like 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He got, I mean, one was a good defensive play by Mike Adams, got his hand on the ball. but he dropped 2 on that series. That was a big deal. He's right, is that you're going to need, and that's really what it is that Cam is going to have to make the plays at the right time. And that is, he's got to connect on the deep ball when it's necessary. He's got to take what the defense gives you is an important way of saying it. And I don't know how, I'm not a football player. I'm not a quarterback. I don't know. There was one play where we play actions and he threw it into triple coverage. He threw that ball before he even looked. I don't know if if in play action you just kind of, it's supposed to be bam, bam so much like that.
No.
Well, he's going to have to play. When we start playing some teams, that Case Keenum has been playing better than he should be this year. And, he made us pay some too. But he missed a little bit. You go up against a top-tier quarterback, kind of like a Drew Brees, you don't have the opportunity to make a lot of mistakes. I think that's a great point, and that's what we're going to need to see. We're going to need to see this defense get better, this offense get better, and the special teams get better. It's just that simple. We got to start tackling. We got to we're playing good, Joe, but we're not playing great.
Right. It was a great effort by the defense and the offense, but there are absolutely things that this team can get better at.
Yeah, definitely. All right, one last call.
Tony Dunn, Mel Mayock, freaking Puerto Rican, Joe Riolano. What's up, boys? It's Cody from the YouTube chat, and I'm just here to say our coaches went in to prevent D faster than a woman trying to avoid Louis C.K.'s penis. I do not understand how with 6 minutes and some change left in the ball game and only 11 points down, you're just going to play that soft-ass coverage and let them come all the way back in the game. We didn't have a 3-touchdown advantage at that point in the game, but then you know what happened? Super Cam showed up and saved our coaches' asses. Cam Newton saved that whole game, and I have a feeling this team is going to have to bail out our coaching decisions going forward the rest of this year, and I believe they will. Keep pounding.
You got to duck and dive when CK. Well, maybe you don't want to duck and dive when CK is around. Go high on CK. I think that Cam's run saved the day. It was a Superman play, but he did some things on the other drive that really put us in some position that he's got to make some of these easier passes when it's necessary. That's it. Or I've been very happy with Cam's play. I think, you got one interception that was a fluky type interception. Could have been avoided. I thought that the pressure was getting to Cam a little bit after the defense let up that 52. And he said it in that press conference, Joe. He said, I've read that book before. And I think that when he's talking about this, I think he's talking about himself some. I think he's talking about the players. He went out. But look, thank God for Cam Newton. Without Cam Newton, this team is nothing. Nothing.
Amen to that.
All right, that's the Cat Calls line. Look, we appreciate everybody getting into that. You can participate in that by calling 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We appreciate everybody listening. We want to encourage everybody to smash that thumbs up button, get involved in the show by participating in the chat, share the show. We welcome everybody, every Panther fan. And you guys are the ones that make us do this every Tuesday night. 45th episode of the season, Joey. And that means every Tuesday we've done this 45 straight for the 5th. This is our 5th year going on, so we've been killing it. But we do it because we've got a great family here, and we appreciate all the listeners. Absolutely. I think, let's see, last thing. We got to do our picks this week. Panthers and Green Bay. I'm going to be there with Mel. Our thoughts and prayers to Mel. Again, Mel's wife is very ill, so he could not be with us tonight. He's got to be spending time with her. But I am going to be going to the game with Mel, something we have been planning on doing for last couple of months. So I'll be in Charlotte. No work on Monday, so I don't even have to go back home. Tony's going to be excited. I'm picking the Panthers to make it 2 straight. Upset, or not upset, but to go ahead and get this sucker. And it's time to go on a winning streak, my friend.
Amen to that. I'm picking the Panthers as well in this one, Tony.
All right, so who is up next? Who did you say that the Falcons got?
Atlanta is playing.
Let's see, I should have all this up.
Is it New Orleans? No, that's the week after next. Dang it.
They're playing. Oh, New Orleans playing the Jets. That's who New Orleans.
Yeah,
is
New Orleans playing the Jets.
So we'll pick that game. Who you got in the Jets Saints?
I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah, me too. Or me as well. Jonathan McCown out for the year on IR.
Yeah.
What happened to him? I don't even know.
Broken hand.
So that leaves us. Who the Falcons got?
They've
got. Hold on. Pulling up week 15 here. Broncos Colts is Thursday. Boy, the Broncos really laid an egg, didn't they? And how about this? Is the Evil Empire fell last night on Monday Night Football. I don't like that.
I know. In Miami.
Falcons Bucks. It's Falcons Bucks. Ooh, easy.
Okay.
Again, 100% NFC South week here, guys. And that I'm picking the Falcons. The Bucks. I'm never picking the Bucks again, ever.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons.
All right. So that's not what we need. We need we need to be cheering for the Bucks, the Saints. I mean the Bucks, the Jets, and the Bengals. The Bucks, the Jets, and the Bengals. Those are the teams we're cheering for. I agree. All right, Joey, do you got? And that's it. Is that the only other thing we got left to do? Is drop in some ice up picks.
I do. I have a nice pick. This goes to some really people who I thought were some really good guys. Some guys that I was really fans of. Marshall Faulk, Heath Evans, and Ike Taylor, who all work for the NFL Network. And
I love Marshall Faulk. What did he do?
Yeah, man, they've always, I've always seen them as really smart guys. Played the game, had really great insight because they were in the game and really, they could tell you what it's like being in the huddles, in the locker room. All that sort of stuff. But these guys, over the course of like 10 years, were harassing the stylist, the wardrobe stylist for the NFL Network. Her last name is Cantor. And Jamie Cantor is her name. And they did all kinds of really sick stuff, guys. Cantor complains that Marshall Faulk, who, bear in mind, is a Hall of Fame running back, would ask her personal questions about her sex life. He was fond of her and even pulled out his junk while demanding she go down on him. And then Heath Evans, who won the Super Bowl with the Saints, would send her nude pictures and actually went so far as to proposition her. And Ike Taylor, who was with the Steelers, and I want to say I believe he won a Super Bowl with them. Sent Miss Cantor a video of him rubbing one off.
Oh God!
I know. This poor lady put up with this for almost 10 years, and even said that the one of the brass in the Eric Weinberger was president of the Bill Simmons Media Group and a former NFL Network executive. He groped her and put his crotch up against her. So these guys were really
It's like
with
this one lady is
yeah,
like
and it's really sad because when you think of these guys and you hold them with high regard and you hear this kind of thing, it really it makes you sad for one, and you know that the network is losing some really good commentators because they were. I feel awful for this lady. And, these people were looked up to by children, and to find this out, it just really goes to show you that you never know the truth about people. You never know what people are really like. So for this, it's stupid. Pure stupidity on their part and male chauvinism on their part. Ice up to those three guys, Falk, Evans, and Taylor. Ice up, sons.
All right. My ice up pick. There's one lady. I feel like Denise Lewis from Facebook could get a nice up. She put this on Facebook and she said she put a message up to Cam Newton. Love your game, but I have to unfollow you. You don't say anything intelligent or interesting. Just self-righteous, self-serving gibberish. If you want to make a difference, you don't do it with wardrobe choices or funky text, unless you're in middle school. Middle schoolers do that. Anyway, unfollowing. Denise, don't worry. Cam Newton's not going to lose any sleep that you are unfollowing him. I felt like, so you're not worthy of the ice up pick. Chinese stuntman Woon Yong Ning falling from a building, 62-story building, after trying to win a contest taking a dangerous selfie. That could get an ice up, but you hate to kick sand on a dead person, man. But even if they did it themselves, my ice up pick, it goes though to the 50. Here it is. My ice up pick goes to hold on, I want to read the tweet just right. Netflix put out a tweet, and it's not to Netflix, it's to the people that they were tweeting, is that 53 people have watched A Christmas Prince every day for the past 18 days. And so 53 Netflix users in the world, whoever they are, and Netflix put out a tweet that said, to the 53 people who have watched A Christmas Prince every day for the past 18 days, who hurt you? It could be a kid, but this is my favorite, is they caught an unnamed customer. They caught an unnamed customer for watching the Bee Movie 357 times in 2017, and another person who watched Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl 365 days in a row.
Good Lord.
So Netflix, it got you, boy. They got you. Stop. And if it's a kid, I get it a little bit more, but somebody stop your kid from watching the Bee Movie for 357 times in 1 year.
What if that's their game and that's how they are able to Netflix and chill?
Netflix and what?
And chill.
You mean like get their kids to chill?
No, that's how they get busy. By watching that, and then they Netflix and chill.
The Bee Movie is
that's what does it.
Gets you buzzing, doesn't it? So to you, I say ice up. All right, that's the C3 podcast. Brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. I ask you to subscribe, share, support, drop us a message. Appreciate everybody in the chat room. Joe Riolano, tell them how they can hit you up.
Guys, you can find me on Twitter at Joe Riolano. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's been a great show. You guys really, really are why we do this. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for participating. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next Tuesday night. Panthers Gonna take care of those Packers. I'll be bringing you some kind of some peaks from the stadium. I'm gonna be there with my boy Mel Mayock. Thoughts and prayers to him and to you, all Panther fans. Good tidings. We'll see you soon. Good night.